Yes, please, thanks. Oh, I still go back. Every day when
And unfortunately.
Did you just bring those in, Doug?
Thanks.
Did you just bring those in?
The ones that are in two containers on the right, not, there were some in the refrigerator.
No, that's a.
Thank you.
That's me.
They may have.
Yeah. It's 7 o'clock. It's time to start our city council meeting. Amy, please call the roll.
Mr. Ryan.
Here.
Ms. Blind. Present. Mr. Shu.
Present.
Mr. Cox.
Here.
Mr. Hauser.
Here.
Mr. Labutus. Mr. Lang.
Present.
Mr. Marmy.
President.
Mr. Neely.
Here.
Mr. Rath.
Here. Okay, would you please rise for the invocation and then remain standing for the pledge? Mr. Hauser.
Thank you, Mr. President. Let us pray. Lord, we thank you for the beautiful day that you've given us today. As we exit celebrating Memorial Day, we just thank you for all the men and women who gave their lives in defense of this country and in defense of freedom. We thank you for them and for their families. I pray that as we talk through the business of the city tonight, we would always keep in our mind what the the best, I should say, and correct path to move forward and the path that you want us to travel down. I also want to pray protection of our safety forces, police and fire, that you watch over them as they keep our community safe. Amen.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic which stands one nation indivisible, with liberty and justice. Okay, next on the agenda is caucus. This is time of council to discuss anything to the. Mr. Marmy.
Thank you, Mr. President. Make a motion to excuse Mr. Labutus.
Second. Got a motion by Mr. Marmy, second by Mr. Hauser. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Do we have anything else for caucus?
Mr. President,
Mr. Rath?
I'd like to invoke Rule 21 and reconsider Resolution 24-46.
Motion by Mr. Rath. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Lang. Go ahead, Mr. Rath.
This is going to require a hearing. So I would like to make a motion to, sorry, it's supposed to, it will require a public hearing. So I'd like to make a motion to table 24-46 until July 1st, where it will be read post public hearing.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Rapp, table second by Mr. Lang. Any other discussion? Amy, please call the roll.
Mr. Ryan.
Yes.
Ms. Blind.
Yes.
Mr. Shu,
Yes.
Mr. Cost.
Yes.
Mr. Hauser,
Yes.
Mr. Labutus, Mr. Lang,
Yes.
Mr. Marmy.
Yes.
Mr. Neely.
Yes.
Mr. Rath.
Yes.
24-46 is passed, 9-0 to be tabled. Anything else? All right. All right, next is, minutes of our May 24 meeting. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second by Mr. Rapp, second by Mr. Lang. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Next is, appointments. There are none this meeting. Reports of standing committees, finance service, capital improvements, economic development without objection will be received and filed. Reports from city officials, there are none. Communications, there are none. Next on the agenda is a public hearing, 24-03. Amy, please read the public hearing.
Ordinance number 24-03 by Mr. Rath, Ms. Blind, Mr. Labutus, and Mr. Marmy. An ordinance changing the zoning classification of certain real property generally described as 994 Mount Vernon Road, City of Newark, Licking County, Ohio. Parcel tax ID number 054-274176-00.000 from that of single-family residence medium density district to multifamily residence district zoning code of the City of Newark, Ohio.
You've heard the reading of the public hearing. Do we have anybody here tonight to speak for or against 24-03? Just come forward. I just need your name and address, please.
Joshua Lyons, 646 Greenwood Loop, Newark, Ohio. We put in the request originally, so I was just for the request.
Thank you. Anybody else? For or against? Okay, we're gonna close this part. Amy, will you please read the hearing again?
Ordinance number 24-03, ordinance changing the zoning classification of certain real property generally described as 994 Mount Vernon Road, City of Newark, Licking County, Ohio. Parcel tax ID number 054-274176-00.000 from that of single-family residence medium density district to multifamily residence district zoning code of the City of Newark, Ohio.
Thank you. Planning Commission has recommended that we approve and pass this, so do we have a motion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Rapp,
I'd like to make a motion to adopt 24-03.
Second.
got a motion by Mr. Rapp, second by Mr. Lang. Do we have any discussion? Amy, please call the roll.
Mr. Ryan.
Yes.
Ms. Blind.
Yes.
Mr. Shu,
Yes.
Mr. Cost.
Yes.
Mr. Hauser.
Yes.
Mr. Labutus, Mr. Lang,
Yes.
Mr. Marmy,
Yes.
Mr. Neely,
Yes.
Mr. Rath.
Yes.
24-03 passes 9-0. Next up is another public hearing, 24-09. Amy, would you please read?
Ordinance number 24-09, an ordinance changing the zoning classification of certain real property generally described as 15 Messimer Drive and 55 Shatner Drive, City of Newark, Licking County, Ohio. Parcel tax ID number 054-216684-00.000 and parcel tax ID number 054-216684-00.003 from that of general office and multifamily high-rise zoning district to multifamily residence district zoning code of the City of Newark, Ohio.
You've heard the reading of the public hearing. Do we have anybody here to speak for or against?
Councilman Jason Umstattd, UMSTOT, Superintendent for Licking County Board of Developmental Disabilities, 186 North 22nd Street, New York. Asking council to please consider this rezoning, 15 Messimer Drive and 55 Shatner Drive, which is currently zoned as general office and the multi-family high-rise for the purpose of the board to construct a one home, approximately 3,200 square feet for the purpose of to 5 individuals unrelated with developmental disabilities to reside and be adults.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else to speak for or against?
Okay, we're gonna close this hearing. Can you please read that?
Ordinance number 24-09 by Mr. Rath, Mr. Cobb, Ms. Blind, and Mr. Marmy. An ordinance changing the zoning classification of certain real property generally described as 15 Messemer Drive and 55 Shatner Drive, City of Newark, Licking County, Ohio. Parcel tax ID number 054-216684-00.000 and parcel tax ID number 054-216684-00.003 from that of General Office multifamily high-rise zoning district to multifamily residence district zoning code of the city of Newark, Ohio.
You've heard the reading of 24-09. The planning commission has recommended that we approve this.
Mr. President,
Mr. Rath.
make a motion to adopt 24-09.
Second. Got a motion by Mr. Rath, second by Mr. Lang. Do we have any discussion? Amy, please call the roll.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Ms. Blind?
Yes.
Mr. Shu?
Yes.
Mr. Cobb?
Yeah.
Mr. Hauser?
Yes.
Mr. Labutus? Mr. Lang?
Yes.
Mr. Marmy?
Yes.
Mr. Neely?
Yes.
Mr. Rath?
Yes.
24-09 passes 9-0. And then we have one more public hearing tonight. It's 24-10.
Ordinance number 24-10 by Mr. Rath, Mr. Cost, Mr. Marmy, and Ms. Blind. An ordinance changing the zoning classification of certain real property generally described as 359 Thorwood Drive, City of Newark, Licking County, Ohio. Parcel tax ID number 054-216606-00.000 from that of single-family residence, low-density district to agricultural district, zoning code of the city of Newark, Ohio.
You've heard the reading of 24-10. Do we have anybody here to speak for or against 24-10? One more time, anybody here to speak for or against? Okay, we're gonna close the public hearing. Amy, want to read it again?
Ordinance number 24-10 by Mr. Rath, Mr. Cost, Mr. Marmy, Ms. Blind. An ordinance changing the zoning classification of certain real property generally described as 359 Thornwood Drive, City of Newark, Licking County, Ohio. Parcel tax ID number 054-216606-00.000 from that of single-family residence, low-density district to agricultural district, zoning code of the city of Newark, Ohio.
Okay, 24-10, planning commission has recommended that we not approve this.
Mr.
Rath?
President,
Yeah.
make a motion to adopt 24-10.
Second. Got a motion by Mr. Rath, second by Mr. Lang. Do we have any discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Rath?
this piece of property is in the third ward. They are asking to change zoning from single family residence, which encompasses the entire neighborhood, to agricultural district. Would never ever agree with that. It is aside from having the agricultural in the middle of the neighborhood, it is the pure definition of spot zoning. So, with that, I will be voting no for this and would encourage each of my fellow council members to vote that way as well.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Amy, please call the roll.
Mr. Ryan?
No.
Ms. Blind?
No.
Mr. Shu?
No.
Mr. Cost? Mr. Hauser?
No.
Mr. Labutus? Mr. Lang?
No.
Mr. Marmy?
No.
Mr. Neely?
No.
Mr. Rath?
No.
24-10 does not pass. 0 went down. Next up is comments from citizens. We ask you that you come to the podium, get your name and address. Keep your comments to about 3 minutes. Do we have anybody tonight? Come on up, sir.
Thomas Bruner, 119 South Second Street. I just want to know if we got any clarification on animal control yet? Because it seems to be that we're paying Licking County animal control to do what our own animal control did. We're paying them $40,000 more a year for them to do not even a fourth of what Toby did. And that, to me, that's money wise, that ain't right. We're losing money because they're not wanting to do their job. And, you know, Toby did his job. He went out there and did decent. Even though I had disagreements with Toby on certain things, but who doesn't? But when you're paying that much money out, that hurts the city. That don't, the county's benefit. Then the other thing I got is our PD. Okay? I've been doing a lot of reading on ordinance and stuff like that. And it seems to me like, do we have ordinances? Because I know parking across the sidewalk used to be an ordinance. And the other day, we had a neighbor down there, every time he has his family there, they park across the sidewalk. You can't get down the street unless you walk out in the road or ride a bicycle off the road. That's not good for kids or even adults. I called Newark PD, officer come by, he looked at it, just kept right on the goal. So I called dispatch again. Dispatch says, I'll send him back out. Guess what? I sent him 44 more hours and I finally went in and started watching TV and they never did come back. Come figure out the shift change. Why do you want to come back out? That ain't right. If they're either wanting to do their job or they're not. If they don't want to do their job, then tell them to go to McDonald's and get a job. That's all there is to it. I mean, I come from a background, when you get paid to do a job, you do the job. And you're honest about it. And as long as I'm on that case, in the last, I haven't been able to make any of the council meetings because of things going on. But in the last 5 years, we have had two resource officers that's been involved with students in the high school. Okay, they're there to serve and protect, am I correct? Is that serving and protecting, going after teenagers? I don't think so. I surely don't want my great granddaughter to go to New York City schools no more. Because of this reason. I mean, and if that's me or anybody else, they'd have a felony against them, they'd be in jail, they'd go to prison. One gets a slap on the hand and he resigns. The other more or less gets a slap on the hand, he gets a misdemeanor and resigns. So how's that fair? Because they're an officer, they get special privileges? That ain't right. If they did something wrong, treat them like everybody else. Then the other thing, we got some guys that have them run around the neighborhood. They got the cars, cleared the ground. They zigzag all over the road to keep from missing potholes and stuff, keep from tearing the bottoms of the cars. I remember there was an ordinance when I was in school, and that's been many years ago. We used to raise our cars up, put big tires on the back, little skinny ones on the front. If your bumper was more than 12 inches off the ground, you got a ticket for it. And the reason because it was a safety issue, somebody hit the back of your car and hit your gas tank. What's the difference in these imports being slammed down on the ground and their gas tank dragging the ground? Ain't that just as dangerous? It create a lot of problems. So I think if you ain't allowed to have your car jacked up so high, you shouldn't have be allowed to have your car slammed so low. But that's just my opinion. And the other thing too, as far as homeless outreach, I know she's doing what she feels good in her heart. But I'm tired of picking up needles, Narcan, and stuff out of my yard so my grandkids don't get it. And I'm not saying it's all coming from them, but I'd say pretty much so, more or less, once it's in our neighborhood. So if we're going to hand those out, then they need to make sure that they're not getting thrown. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right, next up is ordinance on the second reading, 24-16.
Ordinance number 24-16 by Mr. Marmy, Mr. Rath, and Ms. Blind. An ordinance providing for the issuance of not to exceed $14 million parking garage bonds and or bond anticipation note series 2024.
You've heard the reading of 24-16. What is your wish, Mr. President, Mr. Marmy?
Make a motion to adopt ordinance 24-16. Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Marmy, second by Mr. Lane. Do we have any discussion? Amy, please call the roll.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Ms. Blind?
Yes.
Mr. Shu?
Yes.
Mr. Cos?
Yes.
Mr. Hauser?
Yes.
Mr. Labutus? Mr. Lang?
Yes.
Mr. Marmy?
Yes.
Mr. Neely?
Yes.
Mr. Rath?
Yes.
24-16 passes 9-0. Next up is ordinance on the first reading, 24-18.
Ordinance number 24-18 by Mr. Cost and Mr. Marmy, an ordinance amending portions of the current articles of the zoning code of the city of Newark, Ohio, adopted May 5th, 2009 by ordinance 8-33 and September 5th, 2023 by ordinance 23-22A, and implementing additional articles of the zoning code of the city of Newark, Ohio.
24-18 will be held until our next meeting, June 17th. Next up is resolutions on the second reading, 24-33.
Yeah, point of order, what, that's from the planning commission.
Oh, yes, you're right. So. That is one of the planning commission, then it will be back. Thank you, Mr. Marmy. Next up is, resolutions on the second reading, 24-33.
Resolution number 24-33 by Mr. Marmy, Mr. Cost, Ms. Bryant, and Mr. Rath. A resolution authorizing and directing the mayor of the city of Newark to submit an application to the Ohio Department of Public Safety Office Federal Fiscal Year 2025 Ohio Traffic Safety Grants Program, Selected Traffic Enforcement Program, and the Impaired Driving Enforcement Program.
You've heard the reading of 24-33. What is your wish,
Mr. President,
Mr. Marmy?
make a motion to adopt resolution 24-33.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Marmy, second by Mr. Lang. Do we have any discussion? Amy, please call the roll.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Ms. Blind?
Yes.
Mr. Shu?
Yeah.
Mr. Cost?
Yeah.
Mr. Hauser?
Yes.
Mr. Labutus? Mr. Lang?
Yes.
Mr. Marmy?
Yes.
Mr. Neely?
Yes.
Mr. Rath?
Yes.
24-33 passes 9-0. Next up is, resolution 24-34.
Resolution number 24-34 by Mr. Marmy, Mr. Cost, Ms. Blind, and Mr. Rath. A resolution authorizing the mayor of the city of Newark to enter into a community development block grant funded subrecipient agreement with the hereinafter named organizations to carry out activities included within Newark's FY 2024 Community Development Block Grant 1-year action plan.
You've heard the reading of 24-34. What is your wish,
Mr. President,
Mr. Marmy?
make a motion to adopt resolution 24-34.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Marmy, second by Mr. Lang. Do we have any discussion? Amy, please call the roll.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Ms. Blind?
Yes.
Mr. Shu?
Yes.
Mr. Cost?
Yeah.
Mr. Hauser?
Yes.
Mr. Labutus? Mr. Lang?
Yes.
Mr. Marmy?
Yes.
Mr. Neely?
Yes.
Mr. Rath?
Yes.
24-34 passes 9-0. Next up is 24-41.
Resolution number 24-41 by Mr. Marmy, Mr. Cost, Mr. Rath, and Ms. Blind. A resolution appropriating monies for current expenses of the municipal corporation.
You've heard the reading of 24-41. What is your wish,
Mr. President,
Mr. Marmy?
make a motion to adopt resolution 24-41.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Marmy, second by Mr. Lang. Do we have any discussion? Amy, please call the roll.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Ms. Blind?
Yes.
Mr. Shu?
Yes.
Mr. Cost?
Yes.
Mr. Hauser?
Yes.
Mr. Labutus? Mr. Lang?
Yes.
Mr. Marmy?
Yes.
Mr. Neely?
Yes.
Mr. Rath?
Yes.
24-41 passes 9-0. Next up is 24-42.
Resolution number 24-42 by Mr. Shu, Mr. Cost, Mr. Marmy, Ms. Blind, Mr. Rath. A resolution appropriating monies for current expenses of the municipal corporation.
Heard the reading of 24-42. What is your wish,
Mr. President,
Mr. Shu?
we can make a motion to adopt resolution 24-42.
Got a motion by Mr. Shu, second by Mr. Hauser. Do we have any discussion? Amy, please call the roll.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Ms. Blind?
Yes.
Mr. Shu?
Yes.
Mr. Cost?
Yeah.
Mr. Hauser?
Yes.
Mr. Labutus? Mr. Lang?
Yes.
Mr. Marmy?
Yes.
Mr. Neely?
Yes.
Mr. Rath?
Yes.
24-42 passes 9-0. Next up is 24-43.
Resolution number 24-43 by Mr. Shute, Mr. Marmy, Mr. Cost, Ms. Blind, Mr. Rath. A resolution authorizing and directing the Director of Public Service for the City of Newark, Ohio to negotiate and enter into a purchase agreement without competitive bidding with Coghlan Ford Inc. for the purchase of a 2023 Ford F-350 dump truck.
Further reading of 24-43. What is your wish,
Mr. President,
Mr. Shu?
I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution 24-43.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Shu, second by Mr. Hauser. Do we have any discussion? Amy, please call the roll.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Ms. Blind?
Yes.
Mr. Shute?
Yes.
Mr. Cost?
Yeah.
Mr. Hauser?
Yes.
Mr. Labutus, Mr. Lang,
Yes.
Mr. Marmy,
Yes.
Mr. Neely,
Yes.
Mr. Rath.
Yes.
24-43 passes 9-0. Next up is 24-44.
Resolution number 24-44 by Mr. Rath, Mr. Marmy, Mr. Cost, and Ms. Blind. A resolution authorizing and directing the Director of Public Service to negotiate and enter into a contract with MPW Industrial Services, Inc. without competitive bidding for pressure washing of the sidewalks surrounding the downtown square.
Heard the reading of 24-44. What's your wish?
Mr. President,
Mr. Rath?
I make a motion to adopt 24-44.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Rath, second by Mr. Lang. Do we have any discussion? Amy, please call the roll.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Ms. Blind?
Yes.
Mr. Shu?
Yeah.
Mr. Cost?
Yes.
Mr. Hauser?
Yes.
Mr. Labutus? Mr. Lang?
Yeah.
Mr. Marmy?
Yes.
Mr. Neely?
Yes.
Mr. Rath.
Yes.
24-44 passes 9-0. Next up is 24-45.
Resolution number 24-45 by Mr. Marmy, Mr. Cost, Ms. Blind, and Mr. Rath. A resolution to disperse One Ohio opioid settlement funds in accordance with the terms of the One Ohio Memorandum of Understanding entered into by the city by way of resolution 21-52.
Further reading of 24-45. What is your wish?
Mr. President,
Mr. Marmy?
make a motion to adopt resolution 24-45.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Marmy, second by Mr. Ryan. Do we have any discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Lang?
apologies. I should have mentioned a caucus. I'm gonna need to abstain from this.
Okay. All right. Amy, please call the roll.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Ms. Blind?
Yes.
Mr. Shu?
Yes.
Mr. Cost?
Yes.
Mr. Hauser?
Yes.
Mr. Labutus? Mr. Marmy?
Yes.
Mr. Neely?
Yes.
Mr. Rath.
I think I need to say abstain.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mr. Lang?
Abstain.
So this passes 8-0 with one abstain. Next up is 24-48.
Resolution number 24-48 by Mr. Marmy, Mr. Cost, Ms. Blind, and Mr. Rath. Resolution appropriating monies for current expenses of the municipal corporation.
You've heard the reading of 24-48. What is your wish?
Mr. President,
Mr. Marmy?
make a motion to adopt resolution 24-48.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Marmy, second by Mr. Lang. Do we have any discussion? Amy, please call the roll.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Ms. Blind?
Yes.
Mr. Shu?
Yes.
Mr. Cost?
Yes.
Mr. Hauser?
Yes.
Mr. Labutus? Mr. Lang?
Yes.
Mr. Marmy?
Yes.
Mr. Neely?
Yes.
Mr. Rath.
Yes.
24-48 passes 9-0. Next up is 24-49.
Resolution number 24-49 by Mr. Marmy, Mr. Cost, Ms. Blind, Mr. Rath. A resolution appropriating monies for current expenses of the municipal corporation.
Heard the reading of 24-49. What is your wish?
Mr. President,
Mr. Marmy?
make a motion to adopt resolution 24-49.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Marmy, second by Mr. Lang. Do we have any discussion? Amy, please call the roll.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Ms. Blind?
Yes.
Mr. Shu?
Yes.
Mr. Cost?
Yes.
Mr. Hauser?
Yes.
Mr. Labutus? Mr. Lang?
Yes.
Mr. Marmy?
Yes.
Mr. Neely?
Yes.
Mr. Rath.
Yeah.
24-49 passes 9-0. Next up is 24-50.
Resolution number 24-50 by Mr. Cost, Mr. Marmy, Ms. Blind, and Mr. Rath. A resolution revising and describing the boundaries of the Flats Community Reinvestment Area Number 6 in Newark, Ohio.
Heard the reading of 24-50. What is your wish?
President.
Mr. Cost?
Make a motion.
Got a motion by Mr. Cost,
Second.
second by Mr. Lang. Do you have any discussion? Amy, please call the roll.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Ms. Blind?
Yes.
Mr. Shu?
Yes.
Mr. Cost?
Yes.
Mr. Hauser?
Yes.
Mr. Labutus? Mr. Lang?
Yes.
Mr. Marmy?
Yes.
Mr. Neely?
Yes.
Mr. Rath.
24-50 passes 9-0. Next up is resolutions on the first reading. We got 24-53 expedite.
Resolution number 24-53 expedite by Mr. Marmy and Ms. Blind. A resolution appropriating monies for current expenses of the municipal corporation.
You've heard the reading of 24-53. What is your wish?
Mr. President,
Mr. Marmy?
make a motion to waive the 2-day reading rule on resolution 24-53.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Marmy, second by Mr. Lang to waive the 2-day reading rule. Amy, please call the roll.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Ms. Blind?
Yes.
Mr. Shu?
Yes.
Mr. Cost?
Yeah.
Mr. Hauser?
Yes.
Mr. Labutus? Mr. Lang?
Yes.
Mr. Marmy?
Yes.
Mr. Neely?
Yes.
Mr. Rath.
Yes.
The 2-day reading rule has been waived.
Mr. President,
Mr. Marmy?
make a motion to adopt resolution 24-53.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Marmy, second by Mr. Lang to adopt. Do any discussion? Amy, please call the roll.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Ms. Blind?
Yes.
Mr. Shu?
Yes.
Mr. Cost?
Yes.
Mr. Hauser?
Yes.
Mr. Labutus? Mr. Lang?
Yes.
Mr. Marmy?
Yes.
Mr. Neely?
Yes.
Mr. Rath?
Yes.
24-53 has been adopted. Next up is 24-54.
Resolution number 24-54 by Mr. Rath, Mr. Marmy, and Ms. Blind. A resolution authorizing and directing the Director of Public Service to participate in the ODOT winter contract for road salt and declaring an emergency.
Heard the reading of 24-54. What is your wish?
Mr. President,
Mr. Rath?
I'd like to make a motion to adopt 24-54.
Got a motion by Mr. Rath, second by Mr. Costa. Do we have any discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Rath?
there is an emergency clause on this, the reason being is that it allows us to make deadlines to participate in a group to purchase salt for the upcoming winter with the state of Ohio as well as other municipalities.
Okay, anybody else? So we're gonna pass this on the hottest day of the year, so Amy, please call the roll.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Ms. Blind?
Yes.
Mr. Shu?
Yes.
Mr. Cost?
Yes.
Mr. Hauser?
Yes.
Mr. Labutus? Mr. Lang?
Yes.
Mr. Marmy?
Yes.
Mr. Neely?
Yes.
Mr. Rath?
Yes.
24-54 passed 9-0. Next up is 24-55.
Resolution number 24-55 by Mr. Marmy and Ms. Blind. A resolution authorizing and directing the mayor of the city of Newark to submit an application to the Ohio Office of Budget and Management for the Ohio Ambulance Transportation Impacted Industry Program.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Marmy?
make a motion to waive the 2-day reading rule on resolution 24-55. Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Marmy, second by Mr. Lang to waive the 2-day reading rule. Amy, please call the roll.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Ms. Blind?
Yes.
Mr. Shu?
Yes.
Mr. Cost?
Yeah.
Mr. Hauser?
Yes.
Mr. Labutus? Mr. Lang?
Yes.
Mr. Marmy?
Yes.
Mr. Neely?
Yes.
Mr. Rath?
Yes.
2-day reading rule has been waived. What is your wish, Mr. Marmy?
Hey, Mr. President, make a motion to adopt resolution 24-55. Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Marmy, second by Mr. Lang. Do we have any discussion? Amy, please call the roll.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Ms. Blind?
Yes.
Mr. Shu?
Yes.
Mr. Cost?
Yes.
Mr. Hauser?
Yes.
Mr. Labutus? Mr. Lang?
Yes.
Mr. Marmy?
Yes.
Mr. Neely?
Yes.
Mr. Rath?
Yes.
24-55 is passed 9-0. Next up is 24-56.
Resolution number 24-56 by Mr. Marmy and Ms. Blind, a resolution appropriating monies for current expenses of the municipal corporation.
24-56 will be held until our next meeting, June 17th. Next up is 24-57.
Resolution number 24-57 by Mr. Shute and Ms. Blind and Mr. Marmy, a resolution authorizing and directing the Director of Public Service for the city of Newark, Ohio to negotiate and enter into a lease purchase agreement without competitive bidding with Southeastern Equipment Company, Inc. for the purchase of an asphalt grinder.
24-57A will be held until our next meeting, June 17th. And then our last one tonight is 24-58.
Resolution number 24-58 by Mr. Rath, Mr. Marmy, and Ms. Blind. A resolution authorizing and directing the Director of Public Service of the city of Newark, Ohio to purchase 2 new street sweepers for the stormwater utility without competitive bidding.
24-58 will be held until our next meeting, June 17th. Next up is your second opportunity for citizen comments. Do we have anybody tonight? Come on up. Name and address. Try to keep your comments 3 minutes, please.
Linda Moss Solar, 224 Greenlow Drive in Newark. This past weekend, I had the honor of attending an Ohio CAN, and that stands for Ohio Change Addiction Now, retreat with a group of wonderful people. The mission of Ohio CAN is to embrace, educate, and empower those whose lives have been impacted by substance abuse. The North Homeless Outreach is a program under Ohio CAN. One of the co-founders of Ohio CAN stated that she had been asked on several occasions of the rarity of 9 women coming together to bring what was the most stressful, hurtful, debilitating, devastating, and shaming times of our lives. We were muted and judged by strangers and those we called family and friends. 10 to 12 years later, we are still together, still grassrooting and still holding space for each other and others in need. Holding space means working with people without judgment, that you are planning on helping people without looking at your needs, to accept someone's truth no matter who they are, to allow and accept. Holding space means putting your needs and opinions aside and allow someone to just be him or them. Holding space is a huge deal. If we don't hold space, then people are just stuck. And they're just surviving. And back then, there were so many obstacles to shame, blame, and stigma. We had no time to be stuck. Our children's lives mattered, as do all those living and dying in Ohio. One of the topics that was discussed at the retreat was opioid settlement funds. I shared with the group that a resolution would be put before council, dispersing money to Licking Memorial Hospital. I was asked if there was an application process for these funds. I told them, to my knowledge, I was not aware if there was a process. Please correct me if I'm mistaken. It is my hope that some of the funds dispersed to Licking Memorial will be used to expand treatment options such as distribution of methadone. Methadone is an approved form of treatment for opioid substance use. Currently, people using this form of treatment have to drive on a daily basis to Columbus to obtain this form of treatment. During an emergency level 3 emergency about 2 years ago, one of the people who needs a methadone on a daily basis went to Licking Memorial Hospital and said, "We have a prescription for this. You can call the clinic. Can I please get the methadone treatment, methadone here?" The hospital stated they did not feel comfortable giving this person methadone. So at 3 hours later, more than 3 hours, there's 2 hours over to Columbus and 2 hours back in order to get methadone. So we're hoping that some things new can be implemented by the hospital to make sure people are getting the treatment they need. Currently, a lot of the people who need treatment are reluctant to go to the hospital, and this is not substantiated, but they're afraid that a warrant check will be run on them and they will be arrested as they leave. So we just have to make sure access to treatment is fair and we stop reducing the stigma associated with substance abuse. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anybody else? City official? Law director?
Yes, Mr. Bruner, I have spoken with the dog warden. Their stance is that they do enforce laws within the city. Now, I'm not sure of your particular circumstance, I can talk with you. Sure.
Okay.
But, you know, if you're calling them to say, can you enforce the Newark laws, they're not gonna do it, but they will enforce the state. And with that, I'll pass. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mill?
Yes, last Monday was Memorial Day, and I really want to thank out. We do each year, there's a great event. Cedar Hill Cemetery to honor those who gave their lives for our freedoms, and I'm very proud of this community that we honor that at the veteran sections. So thank you to Parks and Recreation Department that did a great job of getting it ready. And thank you to the local county Veteran Service Organization. They kind of organized the event, brings everybody together. And there was even a few members of the Newark band there. Keeping in mind, the next day, the whole band was from the Cedar Point. So they had, which was pretty exciting for them. They were marching up there, but there was a few members there who played the military salutes, and that makes it very special. So with that, I want to thank everybody that puts that together. It's a real honor in this community to honor those citizens that gave their lives. With that, I'll pass.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Ryan?
Oh, that's that. Thank you.
Ms. Klein?
Hey, thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, Memorial Day was a great day. Cedar Hill was just a beautiful ceremony. They did a great job there. And I was grateful to attend the honors bestowed upon those who've given their lives at the VFW, and as well as the traditional breakfast at the American Legion. Now, don't miss that next year because it's really a great time. I mean, not only do you get to do KP, but you get to hear the story of these men and women who served, and it really is a great. And I'd like to thank all the growing relationships, neighborhoods, and the businesses between South Pine and South Williams. Their interfacing is creating a new opportunity to not only secure that area, but to birth some new opportunities there as ODOT has cleared a large swath of property that was problematic. So really appreciate the backbone that these residents and these businesses are showing. They're doing a great job. Like, extra shout out to Modern Welding and the Donna Jean Center. They've just been very stable. And again, they've shown a lot of backbone in some difficult times. And so thank you for them. And to address the idea of Newark Hospital, going to jail can be very therapeutic. I've been speaking to a lot of people and who've been involved in the process as of late, and they said some of them just being arrested for their warrants saved their lives. And so accountability is certainly part of the process, and I would consider it part of the stigma. But again, it's part of the healing process. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Blind. Mr. Shu,
Thank you, Mr. President. I will pass.
Mr. Cost,
I want to agree with the mayor. The Cedar Hill Cemetery service was just phenomenal, as it always is. And I will pass.
Mr. Hauser,
Thank you, Mr. President. I will also pass.
Mr. Lane.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. Just one comment on ordinance 2420. I had been working on that for several months, try to bring it forward. Really frustrated we had to table it tonight because an extra provision was added to it and, basically copied the legislation that I had drafted, and then it was kind of taken out of my hands. And then we were forced to consider this other issue, which quite frankly, totally took over the conversation today. We didn't talk about any of the great things that, we collaborated with the safety director on to come up with a better way of dealing with licenses we're not sure about, that sort of stuff. I thought it was a good, thoughtful piece of legislation, and for somebody to say that they would not support it if it didn't have a limit in it, to me, logically doesn't make sense to say, well, I'm so worried about dispensaries on the one hand that I need this limit, but on the other hand, I don't want to license them if I can't include my limit. Like that, to me, they're totally separate issues. The licensing piece, I thought, is a pretty non-controversial issue. Everybody up here can support getting information to our safety director, making sure we have access for our safety forces to go in and do a search anytime we want to in these facilities. I think everybody up here is in favor of that. If you're worried about the dispensaries, the licensing is a great piece of legislation to move forward, whether it has a limit in it or not. Clearly, the limit itself is a pretty controversial issue and something I think that requires a lot of thought. A lot more detail needs to go into any kind of provision like that, and I think it should be considered separately. And with that, I'll pass.
Thank you, Mr. Marmy.
Thank you, Mr. President. Need to call a finance committee meeting, and with that, I'll pass.
Mr. Neely.
Thank you, Mr. President. I will pass.
Mr. Rath.
Thank you. I'll call the service committee meeting for June the 17th. I'll wish all the fathers out there a happy Father's Day. We will be meeting before that. And with that, I will pass.
Thank you. I'd too like to wish all the fathers a happy Father's Day. Our next meeting will be June 17th. Do I have a motion? Motion by Mr. Paul, Mr. Lane, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Miss Fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Miss Fruit.
And